back, Jace. I'm glad to have you back here to explain how CMG Home Loans handles veterans and takes on some of the more difficult tasks of explaining the virtues of a VA loan versus a FHA or conventional. There are many, and I'd like you to just take a minute and share that with our audience as to how effective a VA loan could be versus the more traditional loans.
Of course. So, Jeff, thank you again for having me back. And one of the great comparisons of VA loans, right? I'm impartial to them, but I believe that VA loans really are the best loan that's available out there. And it's because it's for such a small demographic of people, but then the real tragedy in that is that such a small portion of that smaller demographic are actually using their VA loans to own a home. Right, so a big comparative difference, right, is the differences between FHA and VA loans, right? So FHA loans require, the consumer, the layperson, to pay mortgage insurance, PMI as it's commonly referred to, right? And that would be as if you gave me money to buy a home, I didn't do a 20% down payment, and then I'm required to pay mortgage insurance each month. That's actually me paying your insurance policy. In case, God forbid, I get foreclosed on and you can't get all of the money back that you invested in me to buy that home. Well, that's where that PMI or that mortgage insurance slides in, and it makes you as the investor whole.
And you can't really get rid of that, right, with an FHA loan?
With an FHA loan, no, it lasts for all 30 years. I bought my first home with an FHA loan, it was $328 a month, right? If I kept that for all 30 years, it was $118,000 I would have paid you in an insurance policy that I never could have gotten any of it back.
Yeah, let's talk about one other example. Recently, late last fall, we helped a gentleman by the name of Randy, and he got into a condo that was originally, I think it was FHA approved, but it lost its approval status, and secondly, we were able to get that loan done in just weeks. It was amazing to me. Can you share that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. Another very common misconception is that if a condo is or is not FHA approved, determines whether or not that condo association is VA approved or not, right? The nice thing with Randy is that condo association had let their FHA approval lapse, which a lot of them are doing these days, especially with such competition and mostly conventional buyers coming in. The HOA itself doesn't want to pay to re-up their FHA approval, right? The nice thing is that once a condo is VA approved, it lasts indefinitely. So the condo that Randy bought actually had been approved in 1997, right? And the reason we were able to move so quickly through that is that when a condo is VA approved, we don't need to get the questionnaire and all the industry terms and all of that stuff. All we needed was the master insurance policy to show the entire complex had insurance, and then we were able to move on from any of the condo conditions that we needed. And that's why we were able to move so quickly. And I think our appraisal was done in 4 business days.
Yeah,
they're back and it was done
the next day,
right? It was like you said, within weeks that we had Randy, and I think we actually had moved faster than the sellers could move. So and that's another thing that I really pride myself on is I never want you to wait on me in a transaction. I'd much rather call you and say, hey, Jeff, we're clear to close 2 weeks early. Can we move it up? No, we can't. Okay, that's fine. Let's wait for the sellers.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have to say that of all the folks that I've worked with relative to VA loans and loans in general, Jason has done a spectacular job of getting us to the finish line. There are a lot of potholes out there. You need a lender that's incredibly supportive, that knows the rules of the road. And Jason, by far, is the best when it comes to VA loans in the state of New Hampshire.